Hello, everybody. How are you, my friends? Welcome to the Get Together session for today, Tuesday, 19th of February. Let me go ahead and maximize our starting slide. As you can see, I have a trade running here that we're going to discuss in just a few minutes. But let me maximize the slide so we can begin our session today. Could you please, everybody, confirm that you hear my voice and technology is well on our side, so we can start the session smoothly? Everybody, please give me a quick hello or yes in the comments box, so I know that we are well connected. That would be very good. Okay, good. So time to begin, everybody. Time to begin the session. Let's begin with a starting slide, if you wish, our main slide of the day, where you can clearly see that today we are getting together to do short-term trading. Today is a short-term session. As I said, today is 19th of February, 2019. My name is Jose Blasco. I will be your guide in the session today. And before we begin, as always, quick disclaimer. So the following videos, clips, and demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Tradictive provides this video purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through the demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive on using our products. Okay? Good. So we just got the session officially started. Okay, I'm just going to close this slide here and we're going to get to see our trade session. As you can see, I am running a trade as the session started. I am already in. We're going to plan more trades like that. And as it always happens, if I happen to execute a trade before we start, because obviously the market timing is to be respected. So if I happen to execute a session before we start, I obviously, how are you, Mario? I obviously am always careful to take a series of screenshots. So then I can go ahead and explain what I was doing, where you can see the result now, which is looking good, especially because a new UFO just formed as we speak. Okay, so I'm just gonna move my stop to this location, 2769.5. So 2769.5 is right there. Okay. Okay, actually I went too far. Here we go. This is where the stop would be. So I entered this trade. If you look at the little blue dot there, okay, this was the entry of the trade where I shorted two contracts. You can see -2, so two contracts of the S&P 500 Futures. Okay, so I would like to go over the rationale on why I got this entry in that particular location and what I have done up to this point, because this blue arrow here as well indicate my first target, which has already been achieved. Okay, so this is a trade that cannot lose anymore. And we are now well on the way towards the target, and we'll see later if we achieve or we don't. Okay, but anyway, at the moment it's looking good, and what I would like to do is to go over the rationale of the trade from the beginning, so you get to understand why I did what I have done. Because the moment we get to understand, we will leave this trade alone, and we will allow the trade to do whatever it wants to do, and then we'll go ahead and plan many more trades and hopefully get the same result. Okay, so here is screenshot number one. As you can see, the title of this document here on the upper left, very small print, is INI, which in this case stands for initial. So this is how my screen looked like a few minutes ago when I was getting ready to begin the session with you, but this trade happened to be ready to be taken, and obviously I could not pass. So what we had at this moment in time is that the prior candle here in the bottom chart, which is the 15-minute time frame of the S&P 500 futures, this bottom candle, yes, you guys, could you please go ahead and confirm that you hear my voice? Because it looks like someone may not hear my voice. if you could give me a quick hello, quick confirmation on the comments box, it would be very good. Okay. So again, as I was saying, at the moment of the screenshot, we had the prior candle that was a 15-minute time frame candle, had a close happen below the moving average, and therefore we had a technical change of trend going from what was an uptrend because the prior close was above the moving average to a close below the average. So we changed the trend direction. So then the goal was to get into a short position given the fact that the trend was moving downwards. And in order to do so, we wanted to do it not only because there is a moving average there, which is just a tool which is convenient from a point of view of being mechanical, but it does not add enough precision when it comes to when to get in and when to get out of the trade. So what we wanted to do is looking at this moving average, okay, we wanted to look at the upper part of the screen, which is the 2-minute time frame of the S&P 500 index, where we have applied the AutoUFOs. And as you can see, we had a collection of 2 UFOs. Okay, the third one just formed at the moment of the screenshot. When I entered the trade, I had 2 red UFOs that were ready to be executed. Okay, so give me a second, guys, because I am under the impression that not everybody hear my voice. Let me put this on the screen, and if you hear my voice, just bear with me because it seems that a few of the attendees are not able to listen to my voice. Okay, so please go ahead and bear with me for a minute, and if any, we'll restart the session, and it's okay. But I want to make sure everybody is with me. Okay, so please go ahead and answer that question I just sent to you guys. Do you hear my voice? That would be very good, very important for me to know. Okay. Okay, so this is interesting because the message is on the screen, and everybody should be able to hear it. And yeah, I believe everything is working just fine on my side. So yeah, yep. So I will just continue. Okay, guys, I will just continue as everything looks good on my side. Okay, good. So as I was saying, we have those 2 red UFOs on top of each other, if you wish, just almost overlapping each other. And those UFOs were lining up with the price of the moving average, which at that moment in time was 2,769.45. Okay, that was the price of the moving average that was lining up with those red UFOs. Okay, so what did we do? Well, we executed a trade short, and again, the blue dot. Okay, and we need to zoom in a little bit here. Okay, but basically the blue dot, okay, that was the place where the trade was taken, and that's where the short was initiated. Okay, as you can see, at that moment in time, the buy stop for 2 contracts was located at 2771.25, which is basically above the UFOs. And then we had a first target located at the same distance. It was for us to get rid of half of the position, in this case, 1 contract located at 2767.25. That was the beginning part of the trade. That's how we started. Okay, and once we got into this beginning part of the trade, let me show you the second screenshot I had here. That was the time where price extended a little more and we reached the target 1 for the first time. Okay, so at this moment in time, we reached target 1 for the first time. Half of the position was taken out. We have made $100 of profit. We are left with $100 of risk. So in other words, at this time, we could not lose anymore. And now we have multiple things in our favor, which is red UFOs, providing on-field orders for us to continue this trade to the downside, together with the fact that the downtrend it's kind of proving itself. And the beauty of a trend is that normally it tends to continue based on a purely statistical. This is a purely statistical comment. Okay, so obviously, if you got green UFOs, then the trend is going to reverse. Okay, but there was nothing. There was nothing all the way to 2758, much lower. Okay, so the trend was likely to continue. Okay, and let me give you screenshot number 3. So here's what happened afterwards. Okay, afterwards the market started moving back higher, and I took this screenshot as well because notice how at that moment a new green UFO formed. Okay, and so I would like to comment this with you guys in this session today. I would like to comment this with you guys because obviously, we could have rules around this situation when that happens. Okay, because I mean, let me ask you the question, and you guys comment on the chat box, on the comments box, to see what is more convenient or reasonable to you. Okay, when you have a green UFO form against your trade. Option number 1, what should you do? Get out of the trade because the UFOs in a 2-minute time frame could overpower the 15-minute downtrend. Or maybe a better solution would be just to tighten the stop just in case, but not to get out of the trade because we are still in a trending environment. And based on pure statistics, is more likely to keep going down instead of going up. What would you guys think about this? Okay, so here's my question for you, and it would be interesting for me to see that you guys type it in the comments box. What would be your preferred action when something like that happens? Okay, what would you do? Close the trade just because of the green UFO, or use the green UFO as an excuse or a rule to move your stop tighter, okay, and rely on the trend? What would you rather do? Okay, so that's the idea. Okay, so anyway, that's the idea. Okay, good. So guys, I'm gonna ask you for 1 second. Okay, I'm coming back here to TradeStation. I do see the text of multiple users that seem to have certain problems with the connection. So let me reply to see if I can help them to connect with us very quickly. Okay. Let me see. Okay, good. So anyway, so let's continue, guys. So, well, you can see that this trade is now, doing its thing. Okay, and what's good as well, and you may have heard me make this comment before. Okay, it's 10:15, 10:14 to be precise. Well, actually 10:14 p.m. in Singapore time, which is 9:14 a.m. in New York, and therefore the U.S. market is about to open. So this little congestion may result in 2 possibilities. As the market opens and the institutions start kicking in, the big banks start taking control with their major orders. 2 things may happen. The market may go up or may go down. So if it goes down, that would be a great situation because we have entered the trade before the market opened. We are already in a risk-free situation. We have already made $100 profit. If the market goes against us, we're going to lose 12.5. So the net result of this trade, no matter what, is going to be, $87.5 profit. That's the minimum we'll get per contract. If the institutions enter and they start pushing the market down, we may reach 27.58 quite quickly, which would make it for a very good trade for the day. Okay, so as you can see, we also had another close of the 15-minute candle, so the downtrend is confirming itself. Okay, so again, let the trade happen, and we'll take advantage of it, in this way. Now, in the meantime, what I would like to do is to start planning on other trades. Okay, guys, if anyone has a question when it comes to the trade or anything else, okay, I would like to suggest everybody please to type it, okay, because now what I'm going to do is begin planning new trades that we will be able to execute from now until the end of the session. Okay, If you are fine with everything, so then just follow me, because this is the time now to begin new trades. Okay, good. So we have done this trade with the S&P, 2-minute time frame above, 15-minute time frame below. I would like to observe the Nasdaq. So NQH19, I am loading the symbol for the Nasdaq. Okay, on the right, the matrix is still showing the S&P futures. Okay, so it's okay. But what I would like to do is to go ahead and look at how the Nasdaq looks like. Okay, and then we'll look at, as well, at some key currencies, like for example the euro, the pound, the yen, and hopefully we can find trade setups as well to take advantage of those trades as we spend time together. Okay, so what do we have here? We have the 2-minute time frame of the Nasdaq. We have the 15-minute time frame of the Nasdaq below. We have type of setup. We have closes below the moving average. So we're in a downtrend. And here we have the setup is not as convenient in this case. Okay, as you can see, the moving average is pointing at 7043.69, where the top of this red UFO it's 44, and so basically the moving average is actually above the red circle, and basically if you were to enter this trade, your stop is going to be so tight that this is either going to become the trade of the day big time, or you're going to get stopped out in like 2 seconds. Okay, so not a trade that would be recommended at this moment in time. So we will come back to the Nasdaq after a few minutes, and it takes a minimum of 3 candles to form a UFO. 3 times 2, that's 6 minutes. So we'll come back in 5 to 6 minutes to take a look at what's happening with the Nasdaq. Maybe a new red UFO has formed, and therefore we can now plan on a trade. At this moment in time, we do not have a trade on the Nasdaq. Right? Okay. Now let's move to the euro. Wrong symbol. Let's type it again. Let's move to the euro. And in this case, we are looking at the euro. And as you may remember, something I have done before, in the case of spot Forex, I would recommend to change time frames. Instead of 2 and 15, I'm going to be using here 60 minutes for the time for the trend indication below, and 5 minutes above. Okay, and the reason for that, you may remember, the reason for that is because the spot Forex market does not trade in a centralized exchange, and therefore different brokers may have different quotes. So not a good idea that our flying saucers are very, very narrow. Okay, and the lower the time frame, the less deep the flying saucers will be, where the higher the time frame, the wider they would be, vertically speaking, and therefore we are in a better situation to absorb different prices between different brokers in Forex using a little bit of a larger time frame. Okay, so I would say that 2-minute time frame probably it's a little bit too aggressive for spot Forex. Okay, so we're gonna go with the 5 above, the 60 below, and we're gonna be looking at a trade setup where we want to enter long because, well, actually, we need to wait with the euro. We don't have a trade yet because the prior close was below. Okay, prior close was below, and obviously we don't have any red UFO lining up with the average. Okay, so 1 hour later, actually 40 minutes later, we could come back here and recheck what was the prior close of the euro, and if the prior close of the euro, it's the way it looks like, is looking very, very, very good for this moving average to be lining up with the green UFO here. It's looking it's looking possible. Okay, so something for us to double check 40 minutes from now. Okay, so no time to waste. Let's go ahead. Great British Pound. Let's check on the pound, which is another very, very liquid currency. And here it seems to me that we may have a clearer setup to trade the pound. Okay, so take a look at how we have a moving average, which is located at 129.34. Okay, 129.34. 129.34. It's more or less around here. The top of this green UFO is actually 129.35, and of course, if the euro starts going down, 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 this will bring the moving average down a little bit. And given the fact that those two green UFOs are so near from each other, so what I would like to propose is that even though there are two UFOs, I would like to propose to treat them like it's one and set an entry around this area. Because if we were to buy long the Great British Pound in the 5-minute time frame, we would have a trade setup where actually the pound would be entering a collection of two UFOs almost overlapping each other, lining up with a moving average that is indicating an uptrend, plus, and most importantly, the UFOs suggest unfilled orders in the market, where the moving average suggests a potential for new unfilled orders to be added to the unfilled orders that have already been identified by the red UFOs. Is that making sense? So, we would have a setup. Long story short, we would have a setup with a decent probability, and it could make sense to take this trade. Okay, so the key and the reason why I said it could instead of it will is because we also need to look at how much profit we can make on this trade. Where are the red UFOs? Okay, which at the moment they don't look too close. Okay, they don't look too close. So definitely in this 5-minute time frame, we don't have red UFOs anywhere close. So what I'm going to do is just start going up time frames, okay? And basically, when changing time frames, I'm just going to be using the standard time frames that are used in the industry. So if you wish, you go for the 5, and then to the 15, and then to the 60, and then to the 4-hour time frame. And I'm going to follow that sequence until I find red UFOs. Okay, so let me deactivate chart trading. So it's going to be easier. And yes, so here we go. So now we start seeing red UFOs here. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line at this price point. Okay, we may have unfilled orders to sell kicking in at this price. Okay, so we should be respectful of that. That's the 15. What about the 60? So the 60, well, basically, we are in the middle of the unfilled orders, which is very good because those unfilled orders may bring the price down to our entry. So this is actually a very good news, and is not something to be concerned about, because remember, what is the trend on the 60? It's an uptrend, and remember, in an uptrend, new buy orders tend to be added, and sell unfilled orders tend to be canceled. So on top of that, it's a light red UFO instead of a dark red UFO. So actually, I see this red UFO as a very good news, because this basically will help, or should help, for price to go back down to our entry so we can get long and continue the trend that started here, hopefully to reach the 129.97 that we can see up here. What if I look at the 4-hour time frame? Okay, so the next UFO is actually beyond our line. So if we were to use 129.97 as a target, it seems to me that this could be, quite reasonable. Okay, quite reasonable for this trade. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the 5-minute time frame. We now know in this trade, 129.97, it's going to be our final target for this trade. And I'm not sure why TradeStation is taking a long time to load the 5-minute time frame of the pound. Maybe refreshing the cache folder or something. Okay, so I just changed manually to daily, back to the 5-minute time frame. That's interesting. So view download scheduler. Oh, here we go. That's the problem. It's, for whatever reason, it got stuck downloading British pound data, Great British pound data. So this should do the job. Just cancel the download. Exactly. Okay, good. I don't know what happened there. Little problem with the download on the cache folder. So anyway, so the entry would be around this green UFO. As we said, the target is going to be up there, 129.97. So it does look like a decent amount of white space for price to travel, and therefore it certainly looks like this trade It's not a crazy trade to be taken. Okay, we are in an uptrend. We have the room to make a decent profit. We have the two green UFOs lining up with each other to help us with the trade. So it's time to actually input the parameters of the trade, so you guys can put that trade in your system. You spot forex traders out there, be ready, because this is gonna be an actionable trade for us to execute. Okay, so we have a target all the way above, an entry, and then we will also set what we will call a safety target, which that one is optional, even though it's recommended. Of course, it depends on your trading plan. And then we would have all the way on the top the final target. Okay, so this would be a little bit of the trade setup. Okay, now remember, the tricky part of forex, the spot forex, is that when you trade spot forex does not trade in an exchange, as I said a few times. So what does that mean? Well, it means that not only different brokers may have different quotes, but it also means that the chart that we get in front of us is what is known as the bid price. Okay, the bid price. But when you buy, and your entry is a long entry, so you're going to be buying. Remember, when you buy from the ask. Okay, you buy from the ask. Okay, so very quickly, I would like to go ahead and check the chart with the symbol GBPUSD.A. Okay, if you add .A at the end, it's a little translation trick to load the ask price of the pound. So now I can come in here and just click and hold my mouse on the box, so I can see the upper price, which is 129.37. Okay, as you can see there, 129.37. This should be my buying price. Okay, so I'm going back to the regular chart of the Great British Pound USD. Okay, I'm just gonna move all my parameters here, and we're gonna have here 129.37. That's what we said the entry would be. Okay, the stop. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the stop. The long entry would be night. Okay, guys, a little fat finger here, 129.37. Now I got it right. And then we now need to talk about the stop. So the stop would be below the UFO below, which is a UFO going from 129.23 to 129.17. So maybe you want to add a couple of ticks. So 17 would make it 15. Okay, so it's going to be 129.15, and there would be a protective stop located at 129.15. Okay, and now we just need to grab a calculator. We just need to grab a calculator. Do the math to see how many pips we got from 129.37 to 129.15, which is 22 pips of risk. And if you were to subtract 22 pips to 129.15, this would bring let me say that again. If you were to add 22 pips to the entry, this would bring the 129.37 up to 129.59, which that would be your safety target. Okay, so your safety target would be 129.59. Here we go, we have it. Okay, and then the final target, as we said, well, that one would be 129.97. Okay, we said that already before. Let me write it down, so that way you will be able to take a screenshot. And by the way, the market already open, so we're gonna go back to take a look at the S&P right now. I'm just gonna give you time to take a screenshot, and we go. Okay, here we go. So here's your trade. I'm gonna have a vertical line here, just so we know this is the moment when we plan the trade together. And that way later we can monitor what happened for educational purposes. We can review it in case you guys will have any sort of question. Okay, so screenshot time. Okay, very good, perfect. So I guess you got it. Okay, I guess you got it. So let me make a copy of this chart. Okay, I will just minimize it just for us to go ahead and later on be able to learn from our own experiences. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the S&P ESH19. I need to move down to the 2-minute time from above. I need to move down to the 15-minute time from below. Okay, and yeah, well, basically we had a new UFO form here with 2769 being the top. Okay, so 6925, that's going to be the location for my stop now. So I'm just moving my stop one tick below again. So again, this trade, no matter what, is a profitable trade where we would have made $100 per contract. And now we are just allowing the trend and the UFOs to do the thing. And if we get stopped out on this one, we'll make $100, as I said, and we'll quickly replan on a new trade. And while we're waiting to see what happens with the S&P, we are also going to load the NQH19, and hopefully we'll be able to find a trade. Well, it's not the case, I believe, or maybe yes, because the moving average here, this moving average, as you can see, is currently trading at 54, 54 being somewhere here. So if this market goes back higher, we will have a situation where the moving average is lining up with that UFO. Okay, so let's go ahead and plan a trade on the Nasdaq to see if we reach this UFO and we can enter short. Okay, my only concern there, what is the top of this box? The top of this box is 57.5, where the bottom of this box is 59. Oh, 57.5. Yeah, so I mean, I would prefer a neat situation where those UFOs are not so close to each other. Okay, it would be a much neater situation. It seems that we just hit our stopping point on the S&P, so we better run to execute the trade with the Nasdaq. Okay, so loading chart trading here, entering at this price level. Oh, sorry for that. I need 2 contracts. And I need 2 targets, 1 stop. Here we go. So holding the Alt key on my keyboard, shorting at this price. Here we go. And let me change the symbol. We just got filled on the Nasdaq. Okay. So the matrix is loading here. We just hit the target 1. And given the fact that the market is quite volatile at this moment in time, I'm just going to trail my stop to entry as well. And I need to move my target far quickly so I don't hit my next target too quick. I'm going to give the market opportunity to reach my target. Okay, well, we were in and out. Okay, so that was a quick $50 trade. Okay, good little scalp there. Unfortunately, we didn't have the time to plan the further target properly. Okay, so we, given the fact that sometimes in trading we have to rush, this was the most we could do, and therefore this trade ended up with like 100 or sorry, 50 or maybe $60 of profit, something like that. Okay, I was not able to see the whole math since everything happened quite quickly. Okay, but in any case, it was a good one. There's a lot of momentum, so we had to act quickly. Remember, at the beginning of a market open, often the market will redefine itself. Notice how now it's not so clear anymore that this moving average is going to be respected or not. So now what you would do is that you will wait 10 more minutes, okay, until this candle closes, okay, and you can now start planning on uptrending trades as long as you had green UFOs form, okay, which has not been the case yet. Right now, we are just having the normal reaction to the UFOs. It went exactly to where the saucer is. Of course, this one was a light one, so maybe a little less reliable. And in this case, we're going to be in waiting time. Okay, so I would like to take a look at what's happening with the S&P. Of course, since the U.S. market just opened, I would like to focus on U.S. equities at the moment, and we'll go back to the spot Forex in a minute. Okay, so with the S&P, we may have a trade here because the bottom part is 72.25. The moving average is trading at 76. So we may want to give it a try and plan on a trade here to make a profit here. So let's go ahead. Let me change the matrix too. So normally, this is the screen I use for training purposes. So I don't have the matrix linked with the charts. But normally, when you do this for yourself, it's recommended to link the matrix with the chart. So the moment you change the chart symbol, the matrix would also change. Okay, that would make you more efficient on the execution of your trades. Okay, so we're gonna move the stop somewhere here. And this is gonna be a little less risk. So if I'm doing the math correctly, this would be where the safety target would go. Careful with dragging your stops with chart trading, because remember, chart trading look at every order independently, so you may forget and leave the other stop in the wrong location. Okay, so we have it. Okay, so we are close to the average there. Okay, notice how if it rallies just a little more, we're gonna hit our entry, which is the purple line lining up with the average and the UFOs. Okay, and we'll be in a trade. And then what I'm gonna do is try to look at the green UFOs so I know where to take profits. And it seems that the next UFO we have is located all the way there. So that's the same one we were pointing at earlier. Okay, and therefore we are still going for that one. Okay, so this is where we're at. Very tiny risk. Hopefully, let me see. Yeah, hopefully the moment we hit entry, we very quickly eliminate the risk of the trade, and then from 71 to 57, that may take the whole day. Okay, it's a pretty big move unless the market becomes really volatile today. Okay, so we're in. Okay, we're in. We are now moving towards the safety target. Let's see if we can reach that safety target. Okay. So let's be just patient and let the plan of the trade to do what it has to do. And we'll see what happens. So just a little extra patience here. Given the fact that the market now is cooling down a little bit because it's already 9 minutes into the market open. So cooling down a little bit, but still some inertia, momentum, energy, verve, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so I would say that normally whatever is going to happen, either a stop out or reaching that safety target, should happen quite quickly. But at the same time, it is our job now to sit on our hands and do nothing. Okay, so especially when the market just opened and you expect speed of movement, if the market starts slowing down, you may start feeling a little bit of your finger itching a little bit, and willing to click that mouse. So it's important for you to remain patient and professional, and just let the plan to do what the plan is supposed to do. Okay. And something that we'll discuss as well sometime in the future is time stops. Okay, because depending on the time of the day at which you trade, there may be times where it could make sense to exit a trade if a market is not moving in your direction. Let's call it soon enough. Okay, it could make sense. Okay, so we will talk about that in future sessions as well. Okay, for now we are just letting the trade do what it has to do. Okay, and if we reach that stopping point, it'll be okay, and if we reach our safety target, it'll be better. Okay, and just plan the trade the plan, as it's commonly said, all over Wall Street. Okay, plan the trade the plan. Yeah, so I have not much to say at this moment in time. We're just observing the progress of this trade. Okay, just waiting. We can see the fight. So definitely there were There were definitely unfilled orders at the price at which we entered. The UFOs did a good job identifying those. Now it's all a matter of, is the market going to remain in a downtrend, or is going to change and go back to an uptrend? Because notice that in 4 minutes from now, the candle below is going to close, and given where the price is, it's either going to close above the average or below the average. So we are in that critical moment where there is a pretty important fight between the buyers and the sellers, and we are just observing it. Okay, we are in. We had our bet. Okay, we are short, and we are just letting the trade play out. Okay. So patience, everybody, discipline, okay, and having a professional attitude. That's the way to do it. Okay, so just waiting. New candle form in the 2-minute time frame. For the traders out there that you appreciate candlestick formations, that little kind of shooting star candle formation is identifying a little bit of selling pressure, which is not a surprise because we knew there were unfilled orders. But again, there is this big fight right now. Is the trend going to change? Yes or no? And that's the fight that we are observing. So we'll know that very soon. Basically, reach the extreme of the UFO. So we are one tick away from being hit. So we'll see who wins. Key moments right now, given the fact that, again, we are 3 minutes away from the candle close in the chart below, which is going to tell us the end of the story when it comes to what's going to happen with this market movement. Is it going to become uptrend or remain downtrending market? If it remains downtrending market, really, if it goes down, right? If it goes down and it eliminates our risk, not only it's a good news for the trade, it would also be a pretty strong confirmation that the trend may be a downtrend for the rest of the day in the equity markets, and we could reach that very further away below stop, okay, below target, sorry. Located at 27.57.75. Okay, so we may get all the way there, but we will know that 2 minutes from now, which will coincide with the close of the candle below in the 15-minute time frame. So again, a little boring at this point, if you wish, even though hopefully from an educational point of view, I'm kind of sharing my thoughts behind the scenes, and hopefully to some of you those are helpful. I mean, I know that right now in the group, we have a mix of traders. Some of you are quite advanced and experienced, and where some of you may have started trading not so long ago, or starting using the AutoUFOs not so long ago. So, hopefully these comments help you to understand better how to utilize the tools, how to act as a trader, etc., etc. Okay, so we really have very few seconds left for that candle below to close. So it's 35 seconds to the close of the bottom candle right now. The way things are right now, okay, the way things are right now. So the close is 72.5. The average is 72.1. So basically, we would close and we would have a change of trend if everything stays the same. Okay, so we have a very few seconds for the market to really push down if you want to see this downtrend to remain downtrend. Okay, so it's such a tight fight at this point in time. 2 seconds away, 1 second. So let me see what happens in the candle below. Okay, come on, S&P, give us a new candle there. Oh, my bad, guys. I was looking at the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, so we closed above. Okay, we closed above. I'm very sorry about this. I was looking at the wrong time frame. We closed above. Okay, and we talked about this before. Okay, this is a valid reason for you to get out of the trade now. Okay, and if you get out of the trade now, you would just get out of the trade for a small profit, and that's it. Okay, we have seen this situation before. Because I told you, if you have been in sessions before, that we will do sessions in the future. We will talk about extra rules to make your trade management better. If you feel like it and you want to close the trade, just go ahead and close it now. So you are in a break-even trade, and that's it. Okay, you didn't make money, you didn't lose money, done. In my case, I'm just gonna leave it open. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it open, and that was my plan, and I don't want to do any action unless I had explained it properly before. Okay, so I'm just gonna do what I said, which is trade, plan the trade, trade the plan. I'm gonna do nothing else. Okay, I got my stop located there. I got my safety target, and I'm just gonna leave it alone. Okay, but in any case, we will discuss in future sessions other things that could be done that potentially could improve the trade management and therefore the performance of your trades. Okay, so anyway, so here we go. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the S&P trade alone here for a minute. We have the stop and we have the target. So, whatever happens is under control by our trading platform. And I would like to go back to check what has happened to the Great British Pound in that 5-minute time frame as we started the trade. As we started the market open, because even though Forex is less sensitive to equity markets, still the equity markets will, the US markets trade in US dollars, right? And therefore, if a lot of things happen to the equities, then a lot of things happens to the US dollar. And if a lot of things happens to the US dollar, which is linked to the British pound, something's gonna happen to the pound, okay? And in this case, you can see the pound's been bouncing from this green UFO, kind of confirming that the trend is up. Unfortunately, it didn't come down low enough for us to meet our entry using this below UFO. Okay, so we got nothing to be done here with the Great British Pound, and therefore I'm going to look at another currency. So let's go ahead and take a look at the yen. And again, I'm looking at pretty small time frames. Okay, I'm looking at pretty small time frames because today it's a short-term trading, a short-term trading day. Okay, and therefore I'm looking at smaller time frames. And look, if I look at the yen, it seems that I have a nice setup in front of me with these time frames. But make sure I don't make a mistake here. I need to make sure I'm looking at the 60 and the 5. In the 60, we had a close below the average on the yen, and the average is currently trading at 69. Where 69, it's gonna be just above this green UFO. Okay, so you know what? 12 minutes from now, the session will conclude. Okay, 12 minutes from now, the session will conclude, and we will have an update on this moving average. So what I will do very quickly, we'll go back to look at the yen and the euro both. Okay, we'll look at the yen and the euro both, and we will see if with the update of this moving average, when the new candle starts, maybe we can take a trade using this red UFO. There was also an okay setup with the euro that was looking okay. But we had to wait until the hourly candle closed, okay? And that's going to happen in 12 minutes from now. So I will go back to those markets later on, okay? So let's keep going with other currency pairs. Let's take a look at the Australian dollar, US dollar. Okay, let's take a look at the Australian dollar, US dollar. And well, in this case, we are above the average, but we have nothing green. Okay, so with those particular time frames, we've got nothing. Okay, so we will just leave it alone. So I'm gonna load another currency. Okay, yeah, that trade with the S&P just hit its stop. Okay, so Euro Japanese yen. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and load the Euro Japanese yen. The Euro Japanese yen is trading above the average. The prior close was below. So again, we may have an opportunity to get long the Euro yen with these green UFO. Unfortunately, though, the next red UFO is too close. Okay, so basically you have very little amount of money to be made in this trade. So the euro yen would not be of our interest at this point. Okay, so another currency I could check that would be worth it would be the US dollar Swiss franc, which normally would be a little bit of the mirror image, if you wish, of what the euro is, but sometimes you may get different parameters. Okay, so let's take a look at what we see when looking at the Swissy. So when looking at the Swissy, we have the entry of this UFO located at 0039. The average is located at 45. Okay, so we have the same situation as the Great British, as the euro, as the yen, the Swiss franc, same story. We need to wait for the next candle and see what happens. Okay. So what else do we have? we can look as well at the Canadian dollar. Okay, so another of the majors would be the US dollar, Canadian dollar. So let's take a look at what we have here. Okay, so we are in an uptrend. Okay, and 132.60, 132.60 would be around here. Okay, and if it goes down, it's gonna hit that UFO. Okay, so good news. This trade really looks very, very high probability with 3 UFOs overlapping each other, lining up with a moving average in the context of an uptrend. Is looking really, really beautiful. Okay, my main concern here, which may invalidate the trade, is where are the red UFOs? Okay, so let's uncover where are the red UFOs, and it's not amazing. Okay, it's not so amazing, because if you calculate the distance, okay, between the red UFO where you would take profit, right, and the green UFOs, which is where you would enter, but that also, okay, the distance from the bottom line to the second line, or the line in the middle, basically that's the risk. And notice how basically you have like a 1.5 to 1, something like that. So unfortunately, it's not a worthy trade to be executed because of purely risk management reasons. Okay, so we will not do this trade. Okay, so I'm running over many markets pretty quick. Okay, first because it's a short-term trading day, but also because we learn through repetition. So I'm going through markets where no trade has been planned yet, and going over the rationale and repeat. So hopefully you guys can follow. Okay, if it's not the case that I went too fast, okay, so you can go ahead and either type questions on the comments box now, so I can get your questions and give you answers, or you can just go ahead and send an email to the email that you have on the screen. So plan your trade, take a screenshot, send us an email with your screenshot and the question, and we'll be able to give you a properly detailed answers. Let's put it this way. Okay, now what else can we check? Okay, another of the majors is the Kiwi. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Kiwi. So loading the Kiwi. Here's the Kiwi. Now what do we have? Well, kind of the same setup. 68.31 is in an uptrend, but 31 is below 34, which is this UFO, right? So the average is suggesting to enter below where we actually got on-field orders above. So we only need to wait 7 more minutes for this candle to close, and I believe, based on common sense, this moving average would be brought up in the next candle, and therefore you may have a trade valid to be executed with the Kiwi, the New Zealand dollar against the US dollar, and that would work. Okay, so we have the same setup or similar setup with many currencies. Okay, guys, so from a risk management point of view, what I would like to suggest, okay, and obviously we are all professional here, so we are all responsible for what we do, but I would like to suggest that be careful with market correlations. If you're going to take one of those trades, okay, if you take a trade with a New Zealand dollar, US dollar, you get long, and you are getting long the euro US dollar, be careful because you are short the US dollar twice, okay? Or if you were to get long the New Zealand dollar and you were to get short the US dollar Swiss franc, well, if you are long the New Zealand dollar, it means that you are short the US dollar. But then if you get short the Swissy is US dollar Swiss franc. So if you short the Swiss franc, you are actually shorting the US dollar. And if you are long the New Zealand dollar at the same time, then you are short the US dollar twice. Okay, so you may be wrong twice in a row, or you may be right twice in a row, which from a risk management point of view, it's not recommended, it's not prudent. Okay, so be careful there, and just keep in mind market correlations. Okay, so guys, we got 5 minutes for those that 60-minute time frame chart to update with the currencies. Okay, so I'll come back to the currencies in a minute. Okay, so what I would like to do while I'm waiting for those 5 minutes now of time pass and we have a close on the 60-minute time frame, I would like to go back to the S&P 500 chart, okay, to see if I have a trade. Okay, so the S&P now is in an uptrend, so now you will be looking for green UFOs. Unfortunately, we have none in that particular chart. Okay, so we have no trade with the S&P yet. What about the Nasdaq? Okay, what about the Nasdaq? So I'm looking at the key indexes here, the Nasdaq and the S&P. So loading the Nasdaq here. Okay, interesting to see. Download scheduler. Oh, here we go. This is why this got kind of stuck. It's interesting. Sometimes TradeStation will force re-downloading information. Oh, got it. I don't know what I was thinking. It's not TradeStation. It's me. I typed 18 instead of 19, guys. Sorry for that. So here we go. So what do we have? We have in the 15-minute time frame, we are above the average. Again, same setup that we have with the S&P. Good that we were very quick here with the in and out. Okay, a way to do it. Unfortunately, now we don't have any green UFO that has formed yet. Just be patient because probably later during the day, if the trend continue expanding and it happens to be an update today, the Nasdaq is up 0.7%. So even if it just goes up, like let's say from 0.07 to 0.4 or 0.3, that could be a bunch of points for this to go back up. And if this goes back up a bunch of points, it may give you green UFOs in a 2-minute time frame, and you'll be able to join the uptrend and make some money intraday. Okay, so just replicate what we have been doing since the beginning part of the session, because that should be helpful for your trade intraday. Okay, but at the moment as we speak, it doesn't seem that we have the proper setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to the currencies we discussed. I'm going to look at the euro. So where is this moving average? 113.02. Okay, so 113.02 is here in the middle of nowhere. So in order to not to really waste time, 113.02 is here in the middle of nowhere. I am expecting when the candle closes and a new candle begins in the 60-minute time from below, the moving average will go up from 113.02 a little higher. But even if it goes a little higher, it's still in the white space. It's not lining up with the green UFO. Okay, so it seems that the euro US dollar will not provide us with an opportunity. I remember the euro yen would, but there was no room for much profitability, because that red UFO was too close. Okay, so not too interested, and therefore the setups that seem to be neatest were the yen and the Swissy, right? And it seems that the red UFO we got on the Swissy has been taken out. Sorry, that's the yen. The red UFO we had on the yen has been taken out. So what about the Swissy? The Swissy still got a red UFO at this price point, located at 10040, where the average is 45. Okay. So in a few seconds from now, okay, in 25 seconds from now, the moving average below will update. I am expecting it to update lower. So lower than 45, maybe 40 or below. And if that's the case, well, now we will have a proper trading setup to get into a trade with the Swissy. And I am excited to plan this trade before we conclude the session. Okay, so I'm gonna wait 2 more seconds, 1 more second. Here we go. So this data has updated, is now 42, 43. Well, actually, it has updated very, very, very little, very, very little. So I'm not satisfied enough. So I'm gonna go check on the Kiwi, because I remember the Kiwi was also providing a potential trade setup that was okay. 68.34. Still quite low, to be honest. 68.34, it's the bottom part of the UFO. I wanted to be in the upper part, so I got room to avoid myself to be stopped out and give myself wiggle room before I get stopped out in case I'm wrong. So no good. And what about the Aussie dollar? So with the Aussie dollar, 71.17. So with the Aussie dollar, we do have a trade. Yep. Oh, wait a minute. 17 is the bottom part. Yeah. So we have the same problem. We have the same problem. Is the bottom part of the UFO, and again, we like to work in the upper part of the UFO, not the bottom part if it's green. Okay. And also with the Aussie dollar, the rival UFO is too close. Okay. So what was with the CAD? I'm not sure. Oh yes, the CAD. I remember now. There was those three UFOs lining up with each other. This one is the perfect setup. Okay. The moving average is 61. This one is a very, very good setup. Okay. So here's what you can do. Okay. And I will leave this trade for yourself so you can plan it yourself. But I will give you some written comments on the screen. So let's do this. Okay. Let's make it a homework. Okay. I'm going to give you written comments on the screen. And what you could do is that you could plan the trade yourself, and then you can send me an email with your plan. And if you execute the trade, you could send me an email with the plan and the result of the trade. Okay, so that way we can talk about it, and that could help you as well, and we can review it next time we get together as well. Okay, so this will need to be your final target. Okay, somewhere here in the middle you would have a safety target. Okay, safety target. This somewhere in here you would have an entry. Okay, somewhere in here. Okay, and below the collection you would have a protective stop. That would be below the collection of overlapping UFOs. Okay, so here's the homework I would like to send you home with. So the homework is, based on your set of rules for risk management, the question is, where would you want your entry to be so you are not in a trade that has changed the trend completely, right? But your distance from entry to stop creates a risk which is well justified given the distance to the final target. Okay, in other words, I am kind of suggesting that instead of entering this trade using the top green UFO, I'm suggesting to enter somewhere in the middle. Okay, because basically the problem here is that there is not enough white space for price to travel towards our target. So you gotta sacrifice a little bit here and enter a little deeper inside the UFOs to get a proper risk versus reward type of trade. And I call it sacrifice because the risk is that it may get to the first UFO turn and reaches all the way the red UFO, and you miss the trade if your entry is too deep inside. Okay, too deep inside. If you're looking for too little risk and you're trying to buy so low, well, first you buy in a downtrend instead of an uptrend, and on top of that, you may miss it if it touches and go, and you were still waiting to buy too low. Okay, so here's the homework, and feel free to send me the answer to this question. Where do you think the right entry would be between those three UFOs? Okay, to get a proper trade from a risk versus reward point of view. Anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure to spend some time with you today. We're gonna get together again soon. Soon, to be precise, you just need to click on the Get Together button on our webpage, isn't it? And soon, to be precise, is Thursday, 21st. So it's a couple of days from now. We'll be doing longer-term trading, and you probably anticipate we're going to be talking about options and more things. Even though at this moment in time, kind of like as a follow-up of many of the sessions that we have done before. Okay, many of the sessions that we have done before with sharpening. Remember, we do three types of sessions: short term, longer term, and sharpening. So as a follow-up, we did January 27 sharpening options 1. We did February 10 sharpening options 2. So as a follow-up and getting more advanced little by little, we will certainly spend some time talking about options. Okay, and for sure we will keep sharpening to make you not only trading experts, but also options experts. Okay, so we'll be working on all the assets, and the key, of course, is the timing. Thank you, AutoUFOs. My friends, it's been a pleasure to spend some time with you. We'll see you on Thursday. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye. And if you're watching this recorded, I know some of you had a few problems with technology to connect. So I apologize for that if that's the case, but the recording will be posted in just a second so you can enjoy it this way, okay? You guys take care. Bye-bye.